down. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padres gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. Welcome to the Padres Brewers pregame show for June 5th, 2022. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. Thank you for joining and being a part of this Sunday morning. Hope you guys are all doing well. And hopefully the Padres can get a series win, take 3 out of 4 later today against Milwaukee. Hello, Darth Vader 2021. Waiting for some to get into the chat here. We got Clev back. Clev is back on the mound today. And then another former Padre facing the Padres, Eric Lauer. Is this his first start against the Padres as a Brewer? If it isn't, I don't remember any other starts that he had against the Brewers. But that's what we got on tap today. Brewers entered today's matchup 33-22. The Padres are 32-21. Padres second place in the National League West, 3 games back of the Dodgers. The Brewers are in first place in the National League Central. Obviously, no games back. Padres coming off that win yesterday. A great all-around win. That's 2 great all-around wins 2 nights in a row after it felt like after Taylor Rogers' collapse on Thursday, that felt like the Padres were doomed, that they might not win a dang game on this road trip because you got tough pitching matchups all the way through. Get swept by the Cardinals, lose on Thursday in a game you should have won. But then they come back 2 straight in a row. Joe Musgrove does great. Mackenzie Gore does great. Talk about him on the series reaction episode later today after today's game. Now they're in a position to win the series. They won't have a winning road trip because they got swept by the Cardinals, but they'd have a winning series to end the road trip. Eric Lauer and Mike Clevenger as the pitching matchup. Before we get into that, just the basic stuff. 619-335-5770 is the voicemail number for the podcast. If you want to express your thoughts, be on the show, feel free to give that number a dial. You can follow at Talking Friars. Excuse me. Sorry, I was coughing there. At Talking Friars on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Twitter, all the game highlights that you need for any game that I'm watching and I'm not at. So yeah. All right. So Clev on the mound for the Padres, coming off the IL. He did not make any rehab starts, and it was labeled as a triceps injury. But when I was at the Padres games, and I go early, go by the dugout, and Myers and Clev one day were taking grounders at shortstop. Clev was out there like usual, so I don't really think he was hurt. Now maybe he woke up one day and said, "Yeah, my triceps a little sore," and the Padres were like, "Great, we'll put you on the IL. It can save you some innings. We got starting pitchers, plenty of them right now, and this is going to be a good time to put you on the IL, and we can save some of those innings maybe for a later date, right?" So that's all I think that it was. So he comes back today. He's so far in 3 starts this year, has a 3.21 ERA. He on May 17th, 5 shutout performance, 5 inning shutout performance. What's a 5 shutout performance? 5 inning shutout performance. And then I think 4 to 5 innings should be the expectation. The most I believe he's gone is 5 innings. I think it was that May 15th start or May 17th start. So I wouldn't expect them to push it, especially when the bullpen's pretty rested. I mean, you got Wilson, you got Stammen, you got Hill, you got Suarez, who all haven't pitched in at least one day. And then Rogers can go back-to-back days. Garcia can go back-to-back days. And Chris Matt, if you probably need him to, can go back-to-back days, right? So I think that the bullpen's in good shape for Clev to only have to feel like he can go or has to go like 5 innings. And then, we talk about Steven Wilson, right? With Steven Wilson, he's still on the roster. The Padres announced with Clev being activated today that Brent Rooker is being sent down to the minor leagues. And this really took me by surprise because they just brought up Brent Rooker the other day during this series. So why would you send him down after just bringing him up? What was the point of bringing him up if you knew that he wasn't going to play, right? When you bring up or you activate a pitcher, it feels like it's a pitcher that's sent down. And I understand that the Padres' argument's kind of like, okay, well, with Kleb being activated, Rooker, I don't know if he was going to have a big role or get that many at bats because you have Nomar Mazara, you have Jose Azocar. But then at the same time, it's kind of like, well, then why did you bring him up anyway? It's not like Mazara is getting activated today. It's not like Azocar is getting activated today or Grisham's getting activated today. Like, you knew that he wasn't going to get that many at bats then, if that's why you sent him down with Clev being activated. So I just don't understand why you would send Rooker down, you know? So Rooker time, it ended up turning into no time for him, no playing time for him. He didn't get an at bat, didn't get any playing time in the field. Um, Kind of a weird move. I thought that they would have sent down Steven Wilson. He hasn't pitched in at least 5 days. Um, Usually when or sometimes, if they're gonna send someone down, they just totally burn him the day before to save pitching. Um, and maybe I mean, Musgrove had the no-hitter going, so they couldn't really do that on what was that, Friday? So maybe they didn't have the opportunity to kinda, like, burn Steven Wilson. But I guess they were never going to do that then if their plan was to not send him down at all, you know? Yeah, and I see in the chat here, still no Rooker. What the F? Didn't realize he was sent down. And Czar, yeah, you make a good point. Voit and Grisham picking it up. And that might be why Rooker
Bluetooth
is sent
disconnected.
down, right? But then at the same time, why was he brought up then? It's not like Voit and Grisham picked it up yesterday. They have been having better at bats, right? So why are you sending Rooker up when they've had good at bats? You know the circumstances. You know Kleb's going to get activated Sunday, and it seems like they knew that they weren't going to send Steven Wilson down then. It just doesn't make sense to bring him up, in my opinion. So I guess the good news is kind of like CJ Abrams. He's going to go get at bats in AAA like he was already doing. So that was just kind of a weird move, in my opinion. Do we talk about Lauer? I don't think we have. Obviously, the former Padre opening day starter, has a 2.49 ERA this year. What a shocker. What a surprise that Eric Lauer has become a better pitcher not with the Padres. I've heard that he's changed like his mechanics a little bit on the mound, so we'll see that today. He's had one start this year allowing more than 3 runs, just one. He's had 7 starts allowing 2 or fewer runs. He wasn't as effective last time out. He threw 89 pitches, lasting only 4 innings, but pretty much all the other starts have been good starts for him. And didn't really see that consistency with the Padres unless he was facing like, the Los Angeles Dodgers, right? So that's Eric Lauer having success. I would think that he's going to strike out guys. He's going to probably not get he's probably going to give up 0, 1, or 2 runs, typical former Padre performance against the Padres. And we're going to be like, really? So we gave away Arias, we gave away uh, Lauer. I mean, if they had Eric Lauer, it's not like they'd be this amazing or be like way better than they are right now because they have a great rotation right now, right? And I still believe in Trent Grisham. I still think that Trent Grisham can help the Padres, and he's definitely having better at bats now. So I'm not here to just totally poo poo the trade. It's more not the trade that I'm focused on, but it's more about the Padres, former Padres, that is doing well against the Padres. That's all. What's up, Irie? I hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well on this Sunday morning. All right, let's get to the bullpen situation. Who's going to come in for the Padres maybe after Clev gets done today? Again, I'm expecting him to go probably 4 or 5 innings. Taylor Rogers, ninth inning, he'll be available. Um, since Steven Wilson hasn't pitched in a while, maybe they go with Steven Wilson. And Hill, they go with maybe a matchup against Yelich or something to end an inning. I think Suarez, Wilson, and then Raj with the lead. I think those are definitely good scenarios or a possible scenario in terms of 7, 8, 9 that you'll see. And then Hill maybe for matchups. They'll probably try to stay away from Chris Matt if they can today. But those just right off the bat here out of this bullpen chart that I put out, by the way, on Twitter and on Instagram every day before every game with bullpen pitcher pitch counts over the last 5 days. I think that you'll definitely see Rogers in a closing situation. Had a good day yesterday. So all that, is there a closer controversy talk? Yeah, that was a bunch of BS. That's gone. Had a shutout inning. Back to the regularly scheduled programming, if you get what I'm saying, with Rogers. So that's the bullpen situation for today. As for the lineups, both, I believe, are out. So today, no Nomar Mazara. I understand it because of the matchups. Lauer's a lefty, so they're putting a Zokar, a righty, in there. While I understand that, at the same time, though, excuse me, at the same time, it's kind of like, well, why are they not giving Nomar Mazara those consistent at-bats? That's what I would ask. Like, yeah, I think Azokar is having good at-bats. He puts together good at-bats. Grisham's having better at-bats, still hitting 176, but he's putting together better at-bats. And then Azokar, a couple weeks ago, or was it last week for the series last weekend? I was clamoring for him to start over Grisham, and then Grisham had a good last couple games in that Pirates. Was it the Pirates? Yeah, I think the Pirates series. So both of those guys are playing well, so they definitely have an argument to be both of them playing in the lineup. Both of them have that argument. But with bringing up Nomar Mazara, I mean, it's not like he didn't hit lefties in the minor leagues. I know the major leagues is different, but why are they not giving Mazara consistent at-bats here? And they're only platooning him? I don't know if I really like that. I think give Mazara the chance to have, play every day, hit against lefties, and then if he doesn't do well against lefties, okay, then you can have a Zokar hit, right? But I don't know if I'm that big of a fan of having Mazara. This is what it seems, having Mazara only hit against right-handed pitchers. That's what it seems like. Lauer's a lefty, and Mazara's not in the lineup. So that's, I guess, the only thing that I would change out of this. But Profar leading off, Crony hitting second, Manny hitting third. That's going to be the top three. Voit DHing, Haas hitting fifth. After, I believe, not being in the lineup yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was yesterday. Kim, shortstop, hitting sixth. Nola is catching. And then Grish and Azokar rounding it out 8 and 9. Colton Wong leading off for the Diamondbacks. What the heck? The Brewers. Tyrone Taylor, Christian Yelich, Andrew McCutchen, Rowdy Tellez, Keston Hura, Jace Peterson, Caratini's catching for Lauer, and then Pablo Reyes. Imagine if Eric Lauer threw a no-hitter to Victor Caratini. So 2 former Padres, and one of them is the guy that caught the Padres no-hitter. Man, talk about a nightmare that would be. Holy cow. So those are the lineups. 11:10 is the first pitch. Bally Sports San Diego. 97.3 The Fan. What to watch for is Lauer revenge game, obviously. Let's see how he does against the Padres. How long will Mike Clevenger go? 4 or 5 innings. I think that's probably what he's going to do. No Nomar Mazara, no Brent Rooker, obviously. And then Jorge Alfaro was my Padre pick yesterday. He went 0 for 4. So I am 32-16 so far this season in my pregame show Padre pick. Today I'm going to go with Manny Machado. Yes, that's an easy pick, but he's playing well. And seems like he feeds off of the booze, right? In Milwaukee, feeds off those booze. Hit a home run the other night. I think did he double? I think he doubled yesterday. He's just playing well. I'm going to go with Manny. All right. Let's get to some comments here. Again, I'm going live tonight after the Padres game, or today after the Padres Brewers series finale, to react to the episode, or not the episode. I'm doing the episode, reacting to the series. Um, keep coughing for some reason. Feel free to join me in the chat and leave a voicemail, 619-335-5770. If you have any thoughts on this series, any just general Padres thoughts, any questions you want me to answer on the show, feel free to dial up that number and leave a voice message. All right, let's get through some comments before getting out of here. Yes, we have the Mets next. I'll preview that. Yes, I will preview that on the episode today. Let's see. Just going through these old comments. Ari says if the Brewers go 3 games without scoring, that has to be some kind of record. I don't think that. I doubt that's any kind of record, to be honest, because teams have been swept before. There's been some offenses that are worse than the Brewers. I don't think that would be a record. GWS says they have a bunch of injuries. Yes, but they do have Yelich. I know he's not the same. They still have some talent in the lineup. But you also got to give props at the same time to the Padres and their pitching staff, right? Joe Musgrove, 8 innings. Mackenzie Gore, another shutout yesterday. Great pitching staffs, or a great pitching staff, right? So you got to give props to the Padres for that, too. Yeah, that's another headline, Czar. You're right. Tatis's bone scan tomorrow about his wrist. Hopefully that comes out well and we're off to the races with his rehab in terms of him swinging the bat and hitting off the tee and doing flips in the cage and hitting batting practice and then taking live BP and then a rehab assignment, however long that has to be. And then we get him back on the field, whether that's late this month or early next month. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully that goes well. He's with the team doing the defense and the base running and all that sort of stuff, but he has not swung a bat yet. So that's the next step after that bone scan. Hopefully it goes well and he starts swinging a bat, because that's a big step, obviously, in him coming back. Yep, Alex, I agree. I talked about that earlier. Why would you even call up Brent Rooker if you're going to send him down? Doesn't make sense. Bring up a reliever. Bring up anyone. Pedro Avila for a day if you need him to, you know? Why bring up a hitter if you know you're just going to send him down for a pitcher the next day? Anthony says the Padres are 0-3 this season, coming off back-to-back wins and allowing no home runs in those wins. 0-4 run back to last season. Have an uneasy feeling today. Well, look, based on the way that the series started, I'm fine with the split. Like, I know that's not maybe the best attitude. Like, we have Clev on the mound, right? But you know that a former Padre is on the mound on the other side of things. And the way that that happens is the former Padre usually dominates the Padres. And going into this series, I would have been fine with the series split coming off of that being swept series against the Cardinals to start off the road trip. So if they lose today, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. Clev coming back, you just don't know how long he's going to go. And Lauer, he's been a better pitcher with the Brewers than he was with the Padres, at least this season. And in terms of the 0-3 stat coming off back-to-back wins, I don't think you should really take anything off that. The only thing that matters is the next game for the players. I don't think they say, "Oh, we've won back-to-back," or yeah, "We won back-to-back games. Oh man, now we got the pressure to win a third." I don't think they think about that. It's a long 162 game season. You're just trying to win one day at a time. Win the day, you know? Anthony says his Padre pick will be Luke Voit today. Went down in flames with Hassong yesterday. Yeah. Um, Voit, I'm just never confident in ever picking him in anything because he's not a hit. He's not a beat the street guy that you would pick, you know? Like you pick him for like a home run draft, maybe. But you don't pick him to, get a hit. But if that's what you want to do, go ahead. Gil says the Brent Rooker demotion is due to a roster crunch. Simple to understand. If we had at least 28 player rosters, it would have been a huge benefit to the Padres. It's not a roster crunch, though. Like, Clev is back. A roster crunch means when you have expanded rosters and you have to shrink the roster. It was a 26-man roster. They brought Brent Rooker back up, or not back up in the majors because he was with the majors with the Twins, but they brought him up with the Padres for the first time, and he didn't play. I'm sure they knew he wasn't going to play, and then they send him back down. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's not like you had to shrink the roster. He was already on the major league roster. That would be one thing. But they brought him up knowing that they were going to send him back down. That doesn't make sense to me. So I disagree with your point, Gil, about it being a roster crunch. It wasn't a roster crunch. And I think it would be simpler, or it just makes more sense to me for the Padres if they were going to bring up Clev, who's a pitcher, you send down a pitcher. And it felt like Steven Wilson was the guy there. He hasn't pitched in a while. That felt like the easy decision, but guess not. All right, I think that's going to do it. This has been the Padres Brewers Talking Friars pregame show for June 5th, 2022. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. Be back after for a postgame reaction, the series reaction, probably for the last two games, preview the Mets series, all that good stuff. At Talking Friars on Twitter for the game highlights and on Instagram, on TikTok. Hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel, trying to get up to those 1,000 subscribers. We're over 700. I appreciate all of your support. Everyone in the chat here. Thank you. Enjoy the game and have a great Sunday.